Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to Cricket Happenings. Your host once again welcomes you to the Cricket Happening show. Again, I am not in the best of my health. Still I have some problem with my throat, but cricket is pretty dear to me. Well, I can just sacrifice anything for cricket. Such is my passion for the game. So I'm back here with my Cricket Happening show as usual. And today we are going to look at the Ashes Test series. Very unfortunately, Australia was showing good positive intent. They were 331 runs ahead, and then the bad light stopped play. There was some rain too, rain and bad light, and then that's it. Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, was not happy, justifiably so, because he was probably the addition was right, but he was pretty intent. As England are already 2 up in the series. And Michael Clarke wanted to actually pick up a win under his belt, so he went on a positive fashion. Now looking at the score that Australia earned, they 172 for 7, they took a 159 run lead, so 331 runs ahead. Now with 331 runs, and tomorrow also the forecast is not good, so that is not something that Australia would be liking, and Australia have to live with it. And probably the only thing that Michael Clarke can do is not really have any play anymore, and just insert the English and see how quickly he can do. I mean, how quickly the Australian bowlers can deal some good blows to England, and see whether they can at least try to make a fist of it. Well, that is something that I'll be talking about as far as the day's proceedings are concerned. This was the 4th day where Australia finished at 172 for 7. And then we look at the second T20. As you know, the Sri Lanka and South Africa, the first T20 was a very close one, and finally South Africa won it. And today, once again, South Africa proving their superiority in the T20 competition compared to Sri Lanka. Even though Sri Lanka did well in the Test matches and the one-dayers, but what Sri Lanka showed here is that they are absolutely superior to Sri Lanka with their display that they showed. And one has to really commend this South African unit for doing it. The reason being, there is no Dale Steyn in the team. What a workhorse, and what a prime bowler he is for South Africa. Without him, they have actually won both the T20s. So that is as far as the T20 is concerned. Well, there is one more third T20 which starts on 6th of August, and then we look at the Caribbean Premier League, which had an interesting match today, where the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steels were bowled out for 52, and Barbados Tridents innings also really struggled as far as their batting is concerned. Even though they won the match in the 8th over, 53 for 6 was the score. They lost 6 wickets, and the feature of this game was Bangladesh Saqib Hassan for Barbados Tridents, who actually won the match. Took bowled 4 overs, 1 maiden, 6 runs and 6 wickets. And the other side for Trinidad and Tobago, it was Fidel Edwards who picked up a 5-wicket bag for 22 runs. So, well, just talking about this now, I seem to have some irritation in my throat. I hope you all will bear with me, dear friends and subscribers. So just wanting to talk about this game here. Stumps on day 4. Today England resumed at their overnight score, and one was only hoping whether it would be England who would be saving the follow on, whether Australia today would be able to pick up those 4 wickets. But what happened was that the host team England really played well. They showed some positivity right from the start. Matt Pryor and Stuart Broad, and both of them started stroking the ball. In fact, Stuart Broad hit 7 boundaries in a knock of 32 before the first to go. I mean, Broad was still there. In fact, they had lost only 7 wickets. The score was 280 for 7 when Peterson departed, as you know. So this was a very important partnership which actually helped England stave off the follow on, and the score went to 338 with Stuart Broad looking pretty positive right from the beginning. After contributing 32 runs, he got an edge to a ball from a Lyon which turned, and Lyon finally was rewarded for all his lion-hearted effort, lion-hearted bowling in this particular match. He got his first wicket in this particular match. So he was gone. for 32. Matt Pryor was the last to go, but before that Graham Swan was a victim of the bowling of Siddle for 11. And then finally, when Matt Pryor left with the score on 30, trying to hook a ball from Siddle, actually top edging it, Warner taking the catch. He was gone for 30 with 4 fours. England had staved off the follow-on, and they were all out for 368. That essentially meant that it was a 159-run lead for England. The wicket takers, well, Harris had 2 for 82, 3 for 76 for Stark, and 1 for 95, 4 for 63. Peter Siddle was the most successful bowler. As far as Australia and their second dig was concerned, they were 115 runs ahead, and there was not much time left. So basically, Australia had to adopt an aggressive approach to get as much runs under their belt as possible. And probably Michael Clarke would have felt that, if you could get lots of runs, probably you could even declare on the 4th day. It's quite a different thing that it actually rained. And Australia, well, they started off, there were contributions, but nobody was really able to go on. And what Australia did, they did a sort of some changes in the batting order. They allowed David Warner to open the innings, and David Warner, well, I wouldn't say it was very convincing. He had his moments as far as the English bowling was concerned against Anderson, Anderson and Broad. But what David Warner did was he used his feet very well, started playing his strokes. In fact, if you look at Graham Swan's figures, they probably had a ploy that they really wanted to hit Swan off his length, and that's what they precisely did. His overs reflect that. 15 overs, no maiden, 1 for 74, and the wicket that he took was Usman Khwaja, who bowled him round his legs for 24. But before that, the opening partnership yielded 23, and Chris Rogers was a goner, as Broad actually had him edging to Pryor for 12 with 1-4. David Warner, as I said, once he got through that early jitters there, he started actually stroking the ball very well. He started pulling well. As you know, David Warner punches the ball very well. He was doing that, driving the ball on the up, and he collected 41 runs with 5 boundaries. And Bresnan was the one who actually had his wicket, as Bresnan gave him a short one, and David Warner went for the shot, and he put it in the air. And look at who actually took the catch. Joe Root was the person who actually took the catch, and that was 74 for 2 for Australia. Usman Khwaja, 24 runs with 2 fours, was bowled round his legs by Graham Swan. That is the odd ball that one is seeing with the wear and tear that has happened. We are seeing the ball really, we saw some balls from Graham Swan really turn a long way. So that is definitely, and also one of the balls from Tim Bresnan really had some uneven bounce when it went into the keeper's hands. So that is something. So the hot thing is happening, and 5th day we could expect something more to happen. After that, Watson, who came in at number 2 today, was gone for 18 of the bowling of Bresnan. He was caught by Peterson with 1 boundary. And then Stephen Smith, after looking very good, actually striking 2 sixes in very confident fashion, making 19 of 19 balls, went for a run, but he did not get any response from Michael Clarke, his captain. And Stephen Smith saw that he was stranded, as this is a substitute. Craddock actually relayed the ball to Pryor. Pryor relayed the ball to Anderson, and it was all over for Stephen Smith. It was very sad to see Stephen Smith get out in that way. He was run out for 19. Absolutely no response from Michael Clarke at the other end. Brad Haddin. Well, after that, there were 2 quick wickets that Haddin lost, Australia lost. Haddin was caught by Broad. It was a very dismissal where, actually Haddin had just hit one beautiful boundary of the bowling of Anderson with a lofted stroke. And now Haddin once again tried to do that. He tried to actually hit Anderson on the up, and Broad actually taking the skyer. He was gone for 8. With 1-4, and Mitchell Stark put a tame catch to Graham Swan of the bowling of Anderson for 11. It was like catching practice, and that left Michael Clarke not out on 30 with 1 boundary. Ryan Harris was not out on naught, and Australia's score was 172 for 7. That is the time the rains intervened, and also the light was not deemed good for play. Probably there were some areas which could have been considered dangerous for the players, and that's the precise reason the umpires Erasmus and Tony Hill decided that no more play is possible. Play was abandoned for the day, and Australia were left at 172 for 7 at close on the 4th day of the third Investec test match here of the Ashes Test Series. And they are 331 runs ahead. As I said, tomorrow's forecast is also not good. So one only reckons that Australia would definitely declare tomorrow, because whatever time they could get, they would like to hurl the ball at the English batsmen and see what comes out of it. I'm sure that is going to be there's no point in Australia batting, because the 331 runs is a huge task, and keeping in view the forecast, and Australia definitely has to go for it because they have nothing to lose here. And I'm sure Michael Clarke, knowing him as the Australian captain, the way he actually thinks, I'm sure that we are not going to see Australia bat again. In the sense, tomorrow morning itself, I think Michael Clarke is going to announce the declaration, and England would be batting. That's what I make of it. Well, as far as the bowling figures were concerned, James Anderson was a bit costly. 8 overs, 37 runs, 2 wickets. Broad was good, 7 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 30. Graham Swan, as I said, his length was taken apart by the Australian batsman today, 1 for 74. They had a real ploy in mind. Tim Preston, 6 overs, 2 for 25, was successful. So that is as far as the match situation is concerned on the 4th day. And now let's look at the second T20 match between Sri Lanka and South Africa. South Africa were the ones who actually batted first. In fact, they were restricted to 145 for 6 of 20 overs, with Kuleshekara bagging 2 wickets for 22 runs, 1 for 32 for Malinga, 2 for 18. Senanayake once again continued to impress. Senanayake is someone that South Africa found very, in the one-day international. They found Ajunta Mendes quite a handful. Here, Sajitra Senanayake in the 2 has really troubled the South African batsman. He bowled economically, 2 for 18 to his name, none for 32 for Angelo Matthews of his 4. Ajunta Mendes was a bit costly, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 39. I think it was Jivanta Mendes. I need to really look at it. Well, as far as it was Ajunta Mendes who actually bowled 4 overs. Now, as far as South Africa were concerned, they lost early wickets. Henry Davids was bowled by Kuleshekara for 7 of 10 balls. Quinton de Kock was stumped by Sangakkara of the bowling of Senanayake. Du Plessis lost his stumps to Malinga for 12. Dumini contributed 30 runs, but the highest scorer was David Miller. A.B. de Villiers was run out for 15, but David Miller contributed by hitting 2 sixes down the ground and 1 boundary in his knock of 36 of 21 balls, and that was what really enabled South Africa to finish with a winning score, which turned out to be a winning score. David Wies, well, he couldn't really force the pace, and I thought the Sri Lankan bowlers bowled well, especially in the final stages. David Wies actually has the pretensions of being a very good hitter of the ball, but he probably sees that international cricket is a different ball game, and he couldn't get the ball off the square. He finished with not out 7 of 8 balls, and Parnell was not out on 10. 145 for 6 on the board for South Africa, and South Africa were the ones who actually won the toss, and they elected to bat first. And well, as far as Sri Lanka were concerned, well, Sri Lanka had early trouble. They lost Mahela Jayawardene pretty early. Lonwabo Sutsobe getting the wicket of Mahela Jayawardene for 6, caught behind. After that, they lost the wicket of Chandimal, who was caught by, it was a similar combination of de Kock behind the stumps and Sutsobe for 2. Made it 2 for 27 for 2. Kushal Perera hit some good boundaries, but then trying to reverse sweep the leg spin of Imran Tahir was out LBW for 21 of 22 balls with 3 fours, which made the score 48 for 3. Thirimani, after making 18 of as many balls with 1 4, was a victim of Parnell. So it was all left to Kumar Sangakkara once again, like the previous one-day international. But today Kumar Sangakkara couldn't stay the whole distance. His wicket was gone. He was gone for 39 as Morkel took his wicket, as Wies took a beautiful catch, backpedaling himself at the boundary and taking the catch above his head. That was a very, important wicket, because if Sangakkara would have stayed, probably things would have been different. But Sangakkara's wicket was taken by Morkel as David Wies took a good catch, backpedaling at the fence. He made 39 of 35 balls with 4 fours. Angelo Matthews was out for 1. Wies actually getting his first wicket in international cricket there. Pereira was there, not out on 22, but really couldn't go on and hit the South African bowlers because they stuck to a good line. Kuleshekara was out for 10. Senanayake was not out on 1, as I said. Kumar Sangakkara, Thisara Pereira was there, but what one is seeing is that the other day we saw Kumar Sangakkara still being there, and still Kumar Sangakkara was still not out. and they lost the match. And really sad to see that Tisra Pereira, such a good hitter of the ball, was undefeated on 22 of 20 balls with 2 fours, but still Sri Lanka couldn't clinch it. 123 for 7. One would have the feeling that if Tisra Pereira stays, probably either he's out or the match is in Sri Lanka's back. So it was a bit surprising to see that Sri Lanka in both those T20 matches, having their batsmen, their main batsman at the crease, still they couldn't clinch the victory. As far as that is something Sri Lanka definitely has to look into it. Sotsobe bowled excellently. He gave them the breakthroughs, 2 for 17. Mone Morkel 2 for 34, took the very important wicket of Kumar Sangakkara, and a lot of thanks to David Weiss, who actually backpedaled and took the catch. It was a wonderful catch above his head. Wayne Parnell 4 overs 1 for 25. Weiss also bowled well. He also picked up his first international wicket, 1 for 25. Imran Tahir took Kushal Pereira's wicket with that when he tried to reverse sweep, 1 for 21. And David Miller of South Africa was named man of the match. So there's only one more T20 to go, and South Africa have already won the T20 series, and they would like to actually give Sri Lanka. I mean, they would also like to win the final one-day, the T20 match, which is coming up on 6th of August at Hambantota, and so that they could say that at least they salvaged something, even though they lost the one-day internationals 4-1. They at least they could give a real thrashing to Sri Lanka. But yes, everything can be said. But again, that is another match which is going to be played at Hambantota, the third T20 match. Barbados Tridents, as I said, winning the match, even though, it was a very low match, as I've already just given a summary of that. Well, dear fans and subscribers, nothing else to really share. I would like to end my Cricket Happening show for today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and your host Ram will see you tomorrow. Thank you.